Oh no, it's meant to be a surprise.
Not yet. Unmuted.
No, I don't think it's time to introduce a special guest yet.
No, keep it a surprise.
Oh, right, okay.
So somebody's asked if it's Mary.
Okay.
Somebody's asked if it's Mary Beard or Mary Berry.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Close. Melvin Bragg.
Mary Burton.
I can see I'm going to get into trouble tonight then. Okay. Well,
we're having a goatee beard competition. Is that what we're doing, Dick?
that's fine. I'm letting mine grow. For people who've just come on, like Mary Burton. Hiya, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Please, everyone, unmute yourself. This is our pre-party party.
No.
Mary.
So unmute yourself and feel free to have some fun and shout and bawl and sing if you want to. No worries. So, Caro Briggs, unmute yourself and show that. Oh, hello, Jean. Unmute yourself, Jean. Hiya, Penny.
Hi, I've got my diamonds on.
Oh my word! Where's your diamonds?
And Alan Geesia, how great to see you. Right, we've missed you.
Oh, right.
I missed you too.
Good.
Adalgesia, Adalgesia, what a lovely name. Let me guess, it's Welsh. Oh,
Are you trying to be funny, Dick?
yes. Let me know if I succeed.
Okay.
Well, if I can introduce everyone to, we've got two real special stars here, among many glitterati. Penny Holroyd is our chief star because she invented the idea of the Christmas readings party. Put your hands up if you think that's a good idea to start with.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was meant to be called Christmas Words, which would encompass singing as well. But anyway, Christmas readings and words, yeah.
Well, I'll drink to that. And Ian Gilchrist is going to have at least 10 minutes, probably 15. Do you want to give us a little preview, Ian, of what it's about, or would you prefer to keep it a secret?
Well, it's not a secret, but I'd rather wait before launching into it properly.
Oh, well, that's it.
Mm.
So,
You can see he's psyching himself up for a smashing performance. I want to know what Caro Briggs looks like. Come on, Caro, put your video on and unmute yourself.
What about
Join the party. Brian, unmute yourself and join the party. We're having a little party before the party.
Dick, what about the Chris Theatre?
Yes, Betty, that's what I'm noticing.
I'm wondering what that looks like.
Chris Theatre.
Welcome, Brian.
There are an awful lot of
Hi, everybody.
Good evening, Brian. I'm a little bit worried about Henry Ford because I can see Henry.
Yes, he's there.
Where?
But what's that behind him? Is it something that's just landed?
Rather big
His
crocodile.
mother-in-law.
Henry's going to be another one of our participants tonight, but and more about that very shortly. I reckon we've got 3 minutes before our special guest arrives. It's not Mary Berry, it's not Mary Beard, it's not Queen Mary, though we might have some here. It might.
It's a Mary.
It's a Mary, yes.
Somebody say something about a goat.
Oh! Well done, Penny.
I thought somebody said something
Well
about
done, Penny. Thank you. That's our special guest gone for a.
There goes the surprise.
Nothing like taking it by the horns. All of these will come out later, I think. Aaron Cooper, you may put your video on and then we could see you.
Right, Geraldine. Glad you could make it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad. Thank you. This is my first Zoom party. It's very exciting.
Oh, well done, Karen. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hi.
Hello.
Right. Oh, antlers falls, aren't they lovely?
Yeah, antlers, Christmas trees. I made these.
Oh.
And
Lovely.
and I'm sitting in my dining room and thinking, let's have a bit of a party. So
Oh.
wait for what's going to happen in 1 minute's time.
Let's hope it's not an. I don't think it's going to be an anticlimax.
No, not at all.
Well, it hasn't started as an anticlimax, has it?
Oh, we're having a nice chat.
Exciting.
So have you started drinking yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
It's not gin, it's water.
I got water.
Yes.
Mine is not water.
I've already had 2 glasses of wine to give me the courage.
Devil.
Oh dear.
Hiya, Liz.
It's called stage fright.
Yeah.
Video fright.
Party there.
Fright, yeah. By the end of the evening, I shall be used to it and probably misbehave. So there we are.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
Can we give her an allowance to misbehave? You're allowed to misbehave, all right?
Okay. Wait,
It's
well,
what time everyone can. Hello, Eleanor.
Hello.
If you've just joined, don't worry at all about being mute. Turn your mute off and join the party. Everyone can have a chat. No worries at all.
Have I missed a guest?
No.
Oh, no.
Not yet, no. So
Very
do
good.
unmute yourselves, everybody, and just join it. It's completely informal at the moment.
Are we going to go on when you just have one person, when the guest comes? Do you want us to, because I've got it on gallery at the moment.
Is that Olivia speaking?
It is me.
Yes, I think we should all be on gallery view because
Even when the guest comes.
and
everybody.
yeah, and hello, Duncan. And if you're not sure, can you see the little arrow halfway up the right hand side of your page? Yeah. If you click that arrow, it's got 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Bottom. Click the arrow, and then you'll see everybody else who's here.
Oh, I've learned something.
And then if you go to if you're on page 2 of 2, look at the left-hand side, and in the centre you'll see a little white arrow on a blue background. Click that, and you go back to the other side.
Excellent.
So when our special guest appears, if you can't see them on your first screen, you can look for the other one.
Oh.
How clever you are, Dick.
I know.
You know what they say, clever Dick. Sorry, that was meant to be funny.
Very good.
It was. Yes.
Hi, Duncan.
Being called a lot worse.
This isn't quite as bad. Has anybody ever taken a piano exam?
Yes.
Because this is how I felt tonight coming into this thing. I thought it's like sitting down in front of a piano examiner and having to perform. And it's very serious.
For you, Penny.
I never got as far as an exam.
Very scary.
Mm.
Relax.
Well, I don't know where our guest is at all at the moment.
You mean trouble arriving?
She's late.
Oh, well, at least you've given us an agenda.
Anybody else watching on an iPad, because the instructions are quite different.
I reckon
the iPad instructions are in a totally different place.
Well, at least we've all arrived. I reckon we've got 37 people.
Page 2 at all.
How many?
37 at the moment.
Right, not bad.
Maybe she can't. Maybe
Valerie,
she can't park her sleigh.
No, it's just like I'm on an iPad and we've got totally different instructions in the top right-hand corner.
Oh, I see.
And I can't get to do anything about various pages and things.
I have to tell you.
I just got 12 people
just arriving.
Oh, lovely.
16, sorry.
Oh.
Our special guest has arrived.
Hooray.
When they speak.
Mary Crumshaw. Look at that. Mary. Now this is our special guest.
Oh.
And we are going to call her Merry Christmas.
Oh, Dick, I don't believe this. I thought it was when you.
Yeah, I know, Penny.
I really didn't dream. I mean, it was just, I thought it was a joke, you know.
Oh, Penny.
It's a very intellectual.
Clanger, major clanger there.
Now, is there anyone here who speaks goat?
Has anyone here who's ever eaten goat?
Yes.
Mary has posted a message to the chat.
Yes.
I speak sheep. I've been the mother to a sheep. You know, yeah.
Would you like to read it out, Chris?
So Mary has put a message on chat, and Mary's message is Happy Christmas to everyone at BRLSI. I am sorry I can't stay for Henry's opening ceremony, as I hate the noise of pipers. Anyway, I have much the better beard, so I wouldn't want to show him up. Have a great party.
And to which Henry has replied, Henry, go ahead. Henry has replied, I bet you don't know the small pipes. Come on, Henry, show us the small pipes.
It'll come, I just need to get there.
Oh, wow.
Wow, look at that. Give us a quick toot. Oh, no, because might upset Mary Crumshaw. Sorry, Henry. A little bit later. If nobody else speaks goat, if you have any questions for Mary, just pass them to me and I'll pass them on to her because...
Oh, Mary says, hi to Henry. I'm going to cover my ears.
Okay. I have a special way of talking to you. So if
Mary says go on.
Small pipes. Give us a toot now, because
Mary looks like she's waiting for music.
Mary's quite happy. She's going to cover her ears.
I guess this is a sound check.
Nice one. And by the way, we're all being recorded. We've been recording for the last 10 minutes, so there we go.
No.
It's party time. Oh, lovely.
Even the goat likes it.
Mary liked that. She sent you a love heart.
Brilliant, Henry. Henry, how do you pronounce them in Irish? William something, isn't it?
Sorry, I missed that. How
What's
what?
the Irish name for those pipes?
The Irish don't have a name for these pipes. The Irish name is Northumbrian small pipes. What you're asking for is the name of the Irish pipes.
Yes.
Uilleann pipes.
That's the William something or other, yeah.
I'm over here. I'm not visible in the screen.
Those are Northumbrian, right, okay.
So Mary's dozing off now, I think.
Well, it's been a real privilege to see her. Thank you very much, Mary, for coming to join us. Mary Crumshaw.
Oh, she's being bullied.
Can I just tell you something to make you laugh about Merry Christmas?
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly say something about the goat. That when you mentioned this before, I thought it was a complete joke. I thought we were going to be introduced to Mr. and Mrs. Christmas. because and that they would be coming because a lady called Mary married a Mr. Christmas, so she is now Mrs. Mary Christmas. I thought she would be coming as our special guest, not a goat.
I did too. I agree, Penny.
I apologise for my error.
It's not an error. It was perfectly timed, beautifully timed. Well,
to make a goat of all of us, really.
I think you were just kidding.
Maybe the goat was originally Mary, and maybe the goat's husband is Mr. Christmas.
Exactly. Oh, you've got to be able to tell the sheep from the goats. Kidding. Kidding. No use bleating about it now.
Mary's owner gave us a choice of a number of different goats, and after a bit of a beauty parade, we all chose Mary as our special guest.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. And Chris has made a terrific. I think it was £40,000 he's given to the Goat Fund Foundation. Very kind of you, Chris. That comes out of his pocket money for this week. And I think we've got just about 1 minute left of Mary. So if anyone wants to say cheerio to her and wish her a Merry Christmas, please do. Merry Christmas, Mary.
Merry Christmas, Mary. Merry Christmas.
Very happy.
And all those who look after her.
Oh, she's very appreciative.
Oh, look at that. That's smashing. Well, I tell you what, we've got about 1 minute before we start. Can we just have a little exercise? When we have a speaker, if it's me, feel free to heckle or to talk over me or do anything you want. If it's one of our speakers for the evening, could you all mute, please? Let's just have a little test. If I say 1, 2, 3, mute, could you all mute yourselves, please? And I'll look for those people who don't do it. Tarina, Olivia. Oh.
I've done it.
No, you haven't. Got to mute yourself. Oh, you've done it now. Well done. All right. That's pretty good. Walter Rich hasn't muted himself, but I don't mind because he's just joined us. And let's see if there's anybody on the other page. No, we're okay. Thank you very much. That's brilliant. You can unmute yourselves and we'll and we're ready to start. No, we're not. No, we're not ready to start yet. Talk among yourselves.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, I love Michael's crown. Emma's just pointed out Michael's beautiful crown. Isn't that gorgeous? Lovely. We like your crown, Michael.
The clock striking.
Brilliant.
One of the three kings.
That's mute. Yeah, but he was looking around, wasn't he?
Great.
Okay, I think we're ready to start. Well, welcome everyone. And we'd like to thank all of you for coming along to join the fun and most importantly for supporting BRLSI at a time when it would have been very easy for you not to do so. For those people who've never been to the BRLSI Christmas party, we could have been in Elwyn, sitting at a sit-down meal, or like last year, we could have been in the lovely Jennings exhibition hall, drinking cocktail glasses brimming with wine and enjoying a good chat. Many of you will have remembered last year's party, which Penny Holroyd organised to the last two brilliantly.
Well done.
Thank you.
We've created some great memories together, and we hope this virtual party will be no different. And it is a party, as you know, so you don't need to be muted when I'm talking, but when our speakers are talking, as I've just said, please do mute yourselves, because that will make the speakers clearer for everyone. Just a few reminiscences from past parties. We've had a lot of fun and one or two upsets. There was one party where the beef and lettuce £25 per head supper ran out at 7:45 when people were still queuing up for it.
Right.
We had a guest speaker for a special Christmas message full of goodwill and hope, and he spoke for 20 minutes on genocidal death.
Then there was another one when too many people ate puddings.
Yes.
And had second and third helpings, so there was not enough.
Yes.
Oh, for their heads.
Luckily, it was only the subcommittee members who had stayed to the end, so it was only us who didn't get any, wasn't it? And then there was the time. Oh, right. Then there was the time when one of the subcommittee's special guests for the evening, set fire to the borrowed tablecloth.
Yes.
It was a good friend of mine that did that.
And that was the same night that during the day Mike Tuig had signed off the BRLSI fire safety procedure. But we have no need for such cheap gimmickry tonight, because we have a party, and we are going to start off with the traditional Christmas opening with Dr. Henry Ford and his Northumbrian small pipes. Take it away, Henry. And could everyone mute themselves now, as I will, please?
Oh, I mean, I'm here. All the time I'm here. Can't they see me? Go and phone Wyndham, Peter, and ask him how I'm going to get my picture in. Say I've got my slot there, but I haven't got my photograph there. Not me looking at me.
That's Wyndham Lewis. Can you please mute yourself during the performance?
Oh, I would if I could.
Down at the bottom left, please.
Yeah, okay, I've got you.
Thank you. And if you click on stop video, you should get your picture up. Thank you, Henry. Please keep going. Thank you very much, Henry Ford. I think we should all unmute ourselves and clap in. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
With lyrics by Wyndham Lewis. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I love that monologue about being lost in the Northumbrian fog, you know?
Yeah, it's evocative, isn't it? And looks phenomenally difficult to play. Looks really difficult.
Can we ask Henry if he learnt...
We're not audible.
Oh, I'm sorry. What would have to do?
There's a lot going on here. Anyway, Henry, thank you very much indeed. That was brilliant. Can you tell us Can you tell us if it was an improvisation on an old theme or whether it was your favourite piece? Northumbrian?
It's a standard slower. The first part is Northumbrian, the second part is only, second part's border, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
Northumbrian border.
My family heritage, Northumbria.
Ah.
That was terrific, and that's got us off to a great start. I'm going to ask everyone to mute themselves now, please, if you could. Everyone to mute yourselves, because we're going to go from Northumbria back down to Bath with a touch of the United States, with Chair of Directors Betty Suchar reciting some of and reading most of It Was the Night Before Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, Betty Suchar.
Thank you, Dick. I was just going to give you a couple of reasons why I selected this for my reading. First, nostalgia, because it was a habit at Christmas in my household when I was young. Also, it was published at about the same time that BRLSI got started in 1824. So it's almost a 200-year-old poem. And thirdly, the author, Clement Clark Moore, is a fascinating person, professor of Oriental and Greek literature in NYU. And his family didn't just own a house in New York, they owned all of this section of New York called Chelsea. And his father gave communion to Alexander Hamilton. And my final reason is, at my university, the Dean of Libraries collected copies of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and she had over 1,000 copies. And every year it would be exhibited around the university. So here we go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With the little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his courses did come, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, oh Comet, on Cupid and Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away all. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old F, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye, a twist of his head, soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sled, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him
the wrong way
explain.
round.
Sorry, whoever's talking, can you not talk during the poem, please? Whoever's talking.
Turn the whole thing over.
Sorry, please don't talk. Mute yourselves if you're talking so that Betty can finish her poem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we're almost at the
I
last
know.
one.
Start again, for I like where he puts his finger on his nose and gives a nod and goes up the chimney. Yeah, we all like that bit.
You mean let's see if I've got that. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk and laying his finger the side of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him explain ere he drove out of sight. Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Can we all unmute ourselves, please, and give her a clap? Thank you very much, Betty.
Okay.
Well done, Betty.
Now, for those people who have arrived late, the procedure is as follows. If I'm talking, anybody can unmute and heckle. But if the speaker is talking, please mute yourselves until they've finished. So thank you very much for that. And now it's time to mute again. We have another speaker. And as Betty was saying that our last poet was from a large family and a very wealthy one in New York. Olivia Lusada is from a literary family, and she is going to read a poem, one of her favourite from her grandfather. She's going to read a poem and then a small story. Now somebody is still unmuted and making a rap.
Yes, it's Wyndham Lewis. Well, it's me.
Yes.
I've lost you. Oh, there were. Okay, I think I got you back.
If you go down to mute at the bottom left.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's hidden. Can I do out something?
If you go to the top and lift up the screen a little bit, go to the white panel right at the top of your screen and lift it up, you should be able to see mute at the bottom. If not, Wyndham, please be as quiet as you can.
Yeah, I will be quiet as a mouse. Sorry, I'm so
This
sorry.
is Evelyn.
Yes?
Right.
Can I tell a terrible party joke?
Oh, please do.
Yeah. Why does Santa not go to the NHS hospital?
Why does Santa not go to the NHS hospital? I don't know. Why is that, Duncan?
Because he has private health care.
Oh.
I'll drink to that.
I've got one.
No more.
Like it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're mute, Dick. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Olivia, also from a literary family. Her uncle, A.P. Herbert, was a famous writer, but this is from your grandfather. Tell us.
My grandfather is A.P. Herbert.
I thought it was your uncle.
No, it's not. It's my grandfather. So, and a lot of his work went in Punch or the New Statesman, which was part of his literary, but I won't go into the many things that he did, but I'm actually going to tell you the story first and read the poem afterwards. This is a kind of poem, but it's a story, and I bet you it's true, because it's called The Passing of the Cod's Head. It's a romance of Chiswick Mall. Well, he didn't actually live in Chiswick Mall. He lived in Hammersmith Terrace, which was just next to it. So the whole thing is slightly askew. But this is how it goes. And I thought, yeah, I think various people will be struggling with this over Christmas. It was because the dustman didn't come. It was because our cat was overfed and gorged with some superior pabulum, declined to touch the cod's disgusting head. It was because the weather was too warm to hide the horror in the refuse bin, and too intense the perfume of the form. My wife commanded me to do the sin, to take and cast it in the twinkling Thames, a practice which the neighbourhood condemns. So in the midnight, with a strong cigar, which incidentally he smoked all the time, and scented handkerchief, I tiptoed near, but felt the exotic fragrance from afar and thought of Arthur and Sir Bedivere. And it seemed best to leave it on the plate. So strode I back and told my curious spouse. I heard the high tide lap along the Ayot and the wild water at the barge's bows. She said, "Oh, treacherous! Oh, heart of clay! Go back and throw the smelly thing away." Thereat I seized it and with guilty shoon stole out indignant to the water's marge. Its eyes like emeralds caught the affronted moon, and the stars conspired to make the thing look large. Surely all Chiswick would perceive my shame. I clutched the indecency and whirled it round and flung it from me like a torch in flame. And great wailing swept across the sound as though the deep were calling back its kin. And I thought, it'll go down to Hammersmith. It'll go down beyond the Chelsea flats and hang with barges under Battersea. We'll press past Wapping with decaying cats, and the dead dog shall bear it company. Small bathing boys shall feel its clammy prod, and think some jellyfish has fled the surge, and so 'twill win to where the tribe of cod in its own oozy intones a fitting dirge. And after that, some false and impious fish will likely have it for its breakfast dish. The morning dawned, the tide had stripped the shore, and the foul shape I fancied so remote lay stark naked just opposite next door. Who would have said a cod's head could not float? No more my neighbours in his garden sits. My callers now regard the view with groans, for tides may roll and rot the fleshy bits. But what shall mortify these ageless bones? How shall I bear to hear my grandson say, "Look at the fish that Grandad threw away"? That's a little poem which I'm sure is based on some truth.
And if you're not sure, the time at the end is for everyone to unmute and clap. So can we have a bit of a clap for Olivia, please? Well done. Now the poem.
Now this is a poem called Triangular Legs, and I'm reading it because where Grandpa lived, it was surrounded with artists all around the place, and sort of in terms of Christmas, he was giving pictures and lots of people around him painted, and they also painted him. But so this is called Triangular Legs. I should not presume.
Olivia.
Can't hear you. Okay, I'll start again.
Hold on, Olivia, because some people hadn't muted and there were sounds off as well. So just make sure that you've all muted, please, for Olivia's poem. Thank you.
I should not presume to express any view on the modernist movement in art, but I've studied the work of Elizabeth Blue, and this I can say from my heart. She can do what she please with her houses and trees, and I shall not attempt to advise. But I do not believe that the daughters of Eve have such very triangular thighs. No doubt there are women with indigo necks and heliotrope hips to be found, but I should have said that the shape of the sex was not so much oblong as round. Paint peonies green, I can see what you mean. Paint eyes like ostriches' eggs. But is it the case that the girls of our race have such terribly triangular legs? I do not know much about the feminine tribe, but I've watched one or two in the tube, and I've seen very few you could fairly describe as a couple of squares and a cube. But that is the view of Elizabeth Glue, and my vision with sympathy swims when I think of the boobs who are married to cubes with a set of triangular limbs. Was Sheba the queen who made Solomon gape a collection of parallel lines? Was Juliet just an elliptical shape with a few geometrical signs? Elizabeth Glue, give me anything new and I'll swallow it down in the dregs. But did Helen of Troy run away with a boy on such very triangular legs?
There we are. Thank you very much, Olivia. Well done. Now, Olivia, did you know A.P. Herbert well?
Well, I was one of his grandchildren and lived down the road from his house. Yeah.
And you obviously got on well with him?
No, I didn't. I was
Tell us
terrified of him.
Tell us more. It's a party. There's nobody listening.
All right. I was terrified. We would go to have a meal and he would get the dictionaries out, the encyclopedias. And I was very dyslexic. I couldn't read, never mind understand anything. So, I mean, I felt I totally failed. But the really lovely thing is that we used to go on his narrowboat called the Water Gypsies, with the Water Gypsy. And that boat was why he wrote a musical called The Water Gypsy, which some of you might have seen. Now, I realized reading this, it all sounds really dated. But
it's lovely.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's lovely, and thank you for giving us a link to that time and to him in particular.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to something very different. And
can I tell another terrible Christmas?
Duncan, can I come in?
But it's really bad.
To say to Ian that you are now the host, Ian.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, Duncan, go for it.
What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
I don't know. What do you get?
Frostbite!
Vampire.
Yes.
What?
Was that Jerry?
No.
Who guessed?
Me!
Put your hand up.
Ah.
Oh, right, Olivia, well done.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't even hear what was said.
No, tell us the punchline.
It was Karen.
Karen, right.
What was the answer?
Yes, I've got you now, Karen. Yeah, well done.
What's the answer?
The answer is frostbite.
Oh.
We like those sort of jokes.
Yes.
Now,
Can I read you a very, very short Christmas poem?
Who's that?
He's wanting to go. Henry's wanting to go in 5 minutes.
Yes, Chrissy.
Very, very, very short. If Emmy did the drawing of the Christmas tree, can you see it?
Yes. Go on, Chrissy. For you can have. You've got 20 seconds. Go for it.
Tree festooned with angels, a vision of heaven on earth, a symbol of light in the darkness, an image of hope and rebirth, a Christmas tree bedded in presents, a pretty expression of love. May joy and good fortune before you, and blessings rain down from above.
Perfect. 16 seconds. Ian Gilchrist, take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dick. I'm going to go screen sharing now, if that's okay with everybody. Right, can you all see my slide now, Dick? Can you see? Thank you, good. My piece is entitled What Ho, Make Room for Mamas, and that's the traditional call-in for any mama's performance. Now, I expect there are some people here who have not the faintest idea what mamas is, so I'm going to do a little explanation, and then I'm going to show you the video which we made fairly recently. So what is mumming? It's a traditional winter entertainment with a history of several hundred years. It was mostly done by working men in villages throughout England at Christmas time, and was basically a way to get some refreshment in exchange for the entertainment being provided. It largely died out after World War I because most of the men who would have been doing the mumming performances had sadly died in that conflict. Fortunately, close by to us in Bath, we have the MARSHFIELD Paper Boys, and they are one of the very few traditional sides that managed to survive World War I. They still perform on Boxing Day, and they're called the Paper Boys because their costumes are made largely of strips of coloured paper, and you can see that in this picture here. So they have their leader, Bringer On, who goes by the title of Father Christmas, and then these are the Paper Boys themselves. Well, about the Widcombe Mummers, I went to see the MARSHFIELD Mummers and in about 2005, and I thought afterwards it would be nice to try to do something similar but different in Widcombe. So with encouragement from the Widcombe Association, I found some people willing to do it, wrote a script, and we put on our first performance on New Year's Day on 2006. And this tradition has continued unbroken since then. And I'll say a little bit more about what might be done this year, because it's a rather different kind of year. Anyway, what are the essentials of a mama's performance? Well, we have bringers on. So here are our two bringers on. Traditionally, this would be a character like Father Christmas, but in our case, we decided to invent a new one. So this is King Bladed, a well-known Bath character, and this is his less well-known consort, Mrs. Bladed. So we have here King Bladed and Mrs. Bladed. The next essential part of the play is a challenge whereby two brave knights, in this case it looks like King George, and here we have the turkey snipe. They challenge each other to a fight. And the end of the fight is usually a death, and it's usually turkey snipe or bold slasher or some such character. And then on comes the quack doctor and his assistant. So in this picture here, we have the doctor, here we have his assistant, and between them, they effect a cure. And we can see here an example of a cure just taking place just in time for the poor chap who's died to get off the ground before he gets a cold. So other things that can be put into a mama's play include a local topical joke, a hobby horse, parts for some children, music, a song, usually a wassail at the end, and a party afterwards. So those are the essential and some of the non-essential ingredients for a typical mama's play.
Lovely.
So to introduce the video, in 2016, I got a group of final year students at BRLSI University to make a video in their studio of our St. George and the Dragon play. And I should stress that this St. George and the Dragon play has nothing to do with anything traditional. It's entirely made up by us. You will hear, if your ears are sharp, little echoes of Midsummer Night's Dream, little echoes from Alice Through the Looking Glass, but the essential story does comply with the basic needs of a mama's play. And now I have to somehow switch to that.
Ho! Make room for mamas, and I, Bladud, king, with my fair queen, Mrs. Bladud. A wondrous tale to tell of brave St. George and how the dragon fell. Our story is set in Turkey land in days long past and gone. Now here is Mrs. Bladud to take the story on.
The king of Egypt's daughter, the guest in Turkey land, a comely maid and full of grace, she hoped to catch a man. When walking in the rain one day, a dreadful dragon caught her. Oh, what a dire and doomy day for the king of Egypt's daughter.
I am the manxome dragon, and maidens for drink and meat. There's naught can beat a princess, just her son.
Oh, good Sir Dragon, I beg of you, please, don't devour me. My father is the king of Egypt, and he will slaughter thee.
Kings of Egypt, kings of Spain, they all can do no good, for I am stronger than all these, and I will shed their blood.
Upon the scene there now rides a gallant knight of old. His name is George, he's 8 feet tall, and bears a trusty sword.
In comes I, George the bold and noble knight. I have come from foreign fields to fight, to face the fiery dragon and drive him to the slaughter. By that means to win the king of Egypt's daughter.
Oh,
what ho, what ho! What hempen homespuns have we swaggering here? I am Bold Slasher, first night in Turkey land. Do I hear you cheer? I shall save the maiden fair and take her home with me. And as for George, he can go home and have bath buns for tea.
Slasher, though you may be bold by name, I fear you will not win this game.
I'll slish you and slosh you and cut you up for fun and send you to the kitchen of my good friend, Sally Love. Just slosh and a slash!
Step forward, good brave George, and show us who is best, you or the dragon.
My head is made of cannonballs. My body's made of steel. My arms and legs of the first-class brass. I challenge thee to field. Where now is that dragon? Where's that dragon that dares bid me stand?
He's behind you!
I am the dragon that dares bid you stand. At the end of our fight, your blood will stain the land.
A battle, let thee and I choose which on the ground the first shall lie. Excuse me a moment. Let's have some cheers.
Bravo! Bravo!
Hooray!
Well done, brave George. Your vorpal blade has snicker-snapped. The fiery dragon lies dead upon its back. The maid is free, and yours to claim, and you can add a saint to burnish bright your name. Ooh.
My lady is correct. You stand so firm, so wonderfully erect. Though rude and mechanical, you may seem clearly. You shall bathe in my steaming rooftop, and I will guard you from my high abbey tower. But woe for my foes! We cannot leave them here to rot in the sun. We may need them next year. Is there a doctor to be found to cure them of their deadly wounds?
Come in, Dr. Quack.
Quack, quack, quack.
I am no quack, as you may see. I am Dr. Spinney with a big MD. I've journeyed many moons. I've travelled far and near. And now I've come to Turkeyland to bring you all good cheer.
Uncle, but what can you cure?
I can cure hard corns, soft corns, ipsy, pipsy, palsy and gout, pains within and pains without. I have a little bottle that I carry by my side. It's called the Oakum Pokum Drop. Its fame runs far and wide.
But can you cure these fallen here? And what may be your fee? Bold Slasher, very gently sighted, wounded in the knee, in the knee and in the heart. Old Slasher's wounded in every part.
10 guineas is my fee, but 15 will I ask of thee before I set this gallant free.
No, that's too much for one man, but how would it be if the dragon as well you could cure for the fee?
I say to give a cut price, but they'll be up in a trice. A little drop on the head, and a little drop on the heart. Now rise, and take your part. Rise, rise,
Now for the dragon, but he must promise to be good. No more maidens. Fresh fish for his food.
Did you hear that? Dragon, oh dragon, have some of my drops. But mend your ways now. No more licking of chops. Arise! Arise! Arise!
See here, good dragon. We are rose again. How long have we been on that horrid floor? We have been hurried and scurried and dragged from door to door. But well we are now to sing a song or dance a dance.
Let us all shake hands, never fight no more, but all be brothers, like we ever was before.
And this then is the end of our little play, but we shall be back in Whitcomb next New Year's Day.
Bravo.
Well done, Ian.
Wonderful.
I hope
Very good. Yeah.
Can we all unmute and give Ian a clap, please?
Well, if you want any more information about the Widcombe Mummers, there is a website. I am told that they are intending to do some kind of performance this New Year's Day, but quite what form it's going to take, I don't know. So if you want to find out, have a look at the website and that will reveal all.
Thank you very much, Ian, again. Can I remind everyone, please, that if you don't mute yourself, we can hear everything that goes on, including the tap dancing, the going to the toilet, the making the tea. It's all very interesting, but it means that our speakers' volume is diminished slightly, so just be aware.
Can I be excused?
Yes, indeed. Yes, no worries. Anything can happen when I'm talking. There's no problem. As Duncan has just chattered, brilliant research and performance. Terrific. I could hear you joining in, Duncan, and you're immune from my sarcasm because your renditions were entirely appropriate. Booing the dragon and all of that is quite right.
It's the origins of pantomime.
Exactly. And having mentioned that magical two words, Duncan McGibbon, here is Duncan with a Christmas reading of his choice. Duncan, tell us about it.
It comes from Dylan Thomas's book of recollections about his childhood. It's only an extract, okay? It's called Ghost Story. Bring out the tall tales now we told by the fire as the gaslight bubbled like a diver. Ghosts wooed like owls in the long nights when I dared not look over my shoulder. Animals lurked in a cubbyhole under the stairs where the gas meter ticked. And I remember that we went singing carols once when there wasn't the shaving of a moon to light the flying streets. At the end of a long road was a drive that led to a large house, and we stumbled up the darkness of the drive that night. Each one of us afraid, each one holding a stone in his hand, in case, and all of us too brave to say a word. The wind through the trees made noises as of old, unpleasant and maybe web-footed men, wheezing in caves. We reached the black bulk of the house. What shall we give them? Hark the herald? No, said Jack. Good King Wenceslas. I'll count 3. 1, 2, 3, and we began to sing, our voices high and seemingly distant in the snow-felted darkness round the house that was occupied by nobody we knew. We stood close together near the dark door. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of the... And then a small, dry voice, like the voice of someone who has not spoken for a long time, joined our singing, a small, dry, eggshell voice from the other side of the door, a small, dry voice through the keyhole. And when we stopped running, we were outside our house. The front room was lovely. Balloons floated under the hot water bottle gulping gas. Everything was good again and shone over the town. Perhaps it was a ghost, Jim said. Perhaps it was trolls, Dan said, who was always reading. Let's go in and see if there's any jelly left, Jack said. And we did that.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Can we all unmute and give him a good round of applause? Dylan Thomas, one of your favourites, Duncan, obviously.
I only have 3 favourites. Gerard Manley Hopkins, Dylan Thomas and W.H. Auden.
Brilliant. The Wind Hover, my favourite Hopkins poem, The Wind Hover. Brilliant.
Very moving. And
now, from the poet's voice himself, thank you very much, Duncan, a real feast for Christmas that was, to Penny Holroyd, the originator of tonight's Christmas words.
Well, my words are very short. This is a charming little poem by an American poet, Phyllis McGinley, chosen by John Julius Norwich for his collection in a book entitled The Ultimate Christmas Cracker. Right, and on the theme of all the days of Christmas, it's called All the Days of Christmas. What shall my true love have from me to pleasure his Christmas wealthily? The partridge has flown from our pear tree, flown with our summers are the swans and the geese. Milkmaids and drummers would leave him little peace. I've no gold ring and no turtle dove, so what can I bring to my true love? A coat for the drizzle chosen at the store, a saw and a chisel for mending the door, a pair of red slippers to slip on his feet, 3 striped neckties, something sweet. He shall have all I can best afford, no pipers piping, no leaping lord, but a fine fat hen for his Christmas board, 2 pretty daughters versed in the role, to be worn like pinks in his buttonhole, and the tree of my heart with its cooling linnet, my evergreen heart, and the bright bird in it.
Wow. Come on, unmute everyone and give that the round of applause it deserves. Thank you. Penny,
Nice.
it is a lovely poem. Tell us why you like it particularly.
Because it's short. And I struggled to find the right thing. So I went to Topping's bookshop and they plied me with coffee and biscuits. And I asked them to find me a book about Christmas. But I had already read a review of this lovely book by John Julius Norwich. Having looked through it, this one, I thought this would be the appropriate one because all the others were rather sad. And this has got a nice ring to it. Anyway, that's why.
Now, from the sublime to the even as much sublime, if I can say that. I'm hoping that Ian has passed on the hosting to me for after this performance. Thank you, Ian. But here is a song that I've been singing for 60 years. It's 1400, the date, 6 centuries. It was lost until the 17th century, was found in a collection of ancient carols and stored, and now it's in the British Library. It celebrates the Annunciation, where the angel Gabriel told Mary that she would miraculously conceive and give birth as a virgin to the Son of God. If you notice, the month of April features a great deal in this carol. I'll let you ponder on the significance of the month. I sing of a maid that is Mechiless, King of all kings, to her son she chid. He came also still where his mother was, as dew in April that falleth on the grass. He came also still to his mother's bower, as dew in April that falleth on the flower. He came also still to his mother's side, as dew in April on the rainbow slide. Mother and maiden was never none like she. Well may that lady, God's mother, be. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, Dick. Beautiful.
Really
First
nice.
time I've heard
Lovely.
Well, from the slightly ridiculous to the Michael Tuig, who is here somewhere, and Michael is going to lead the membership subcommittee into, and here you'll have to wait for a little bit, a rendition of the 12 Days of Christmas. Michael, would you like to, while I'm getting something up on the screen,
Oh, what I thought you were going to get something, never mind.
would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, here we are. We all know this song, On the First Day of Christmas, My True Love Gave to Me, all that. Well, where did it all come from? And what do the 12 verses mean, usually? For example, why a partridge? And why, for goodness sake, up a pear tree, of all places? Well, it's a very ancient origin, early Middle Ages at the very earliest, but has both French and English derivations, first published in around 1740, although local and regional variations have developed in both countries and even in districts and regions within the local population. Now, I'm going to start off, Dick will take over slightly there, by reciting the first verse, and then there are four of us who will each chip in on each verse with an interpretation, a take, or some stuff on that subject. Now, I'll just start.
Sorry, Mike, I can hardly hear you. I'm sorry.
Well, I can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Turn up
You're a bit faint, Mike.
Do an F plus, Ian. Look on your thing. Do an F10, F11, plus F11. Bring your sound up.
Okay, just while you're pausing for breath there, if I could, Mike, here is a rendition of the first few verses that the membership subcommittee recorded a little earlier. Let's just see if we can hear them. Well, I can't.
Oh.
No, that's not coming through. One moment.
Right. Yes?
We'll never know about the turtle doves.
Are you still there, Dick? Are you still there, old chap?
Unmute.
Unmute, Dick.
Complicated life, this, isn't it? Just put your thumbs up if you heard any of that at all. Oh, good. Well done. Right, that was that. I did share it with you for a second or two. I wasn't supposed to do that because copyright. Don't anyone mention it to the copyright people.
It's too late now. Too late now.
No, we'll have to edit the bit out. That was the membership subcommittee singing earlier. One we did earlier.
Yes, of
Got
course.
a bit complicated. Michael, take it away.
Okay then. Well, you've got the introduction. So I'll read out. We'll recite the first verse, and then we'll go through a few of them. And each time I'll stop, and one of us, there are four, we'll each take it in turns to give a take, derivation, definition of what it's all about. So, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. Now, Dick, what's your take on all that? I didn't hear.
First to unmute myself, and then to put my notes off, The first 5 verses all refer to game birds, which are often thought of as giving a special flavour to the Christmas festivities. The first one is the common partridge, and it's native to Britain. But the red partridge was introduced from France about 200 years ago, following the virtual extinction of our own birds through us overshooting them. It's said that red partridges and red pheasants originated in the Far East and were brought to Western Europe by the Romans. Roman coins have been found in Vietnam, and they could have been traded for such birds through the vast network of seaborne trading routes that existed in those ancient times. The Latin name for the common partridge is Perdix perdix. This is all relevant. And early versions of this song included both names, as in partridge et une perdix. But over time, partridge et une perdix became mistranslated into partridge in a pear tree.
Okay.
There we have it.
Anybody got a point on that? Now, the second verse is now, on the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves. Turtle doves? Well, Gary, what have you got to say about turtle doves?
Well, Michael, since time immemorial, the white dove has been seen as symbolising love and devotion, peace and fellowship, with small flocks sometimes being released on celebratory occasions such as weddings and in the remembrance of past conflicts. Although rare these days, there are times when it was customary for country people to have a dovecote of some sort in their gardens. The turtle dove, like all doves, pair for life, although you wouldn't think so watching the cockbird amongst feral pigeons strutting his stuff behind the hen, who is otherwise totally uninterested. And while all the other doves more or less stay in their homelands the year round, the turtle dove is the only one which migrates, usually to the southern counties of this country from its summer headquarters in the Middle East or North Africa. But it is otherwise slightly smaller than the average dove, with a good deal more attractive plumage, which, together with its lilting song, the voice of the turtle head in the Song of Solomon, is often regarded as a song of summer as well as a symbol of lifelong love and fidelity. Their symbolism transcends religious divisions, and in the Judeo-Christian tradition, the dove was messenger of revival to Noah on the Ark of the Old Testament, and the embodiment of the Holy Spirit descending on Christ at his baptism in the New Testament. In India, gods take the shape of doves, and in Islam, Muhammad was attended by a spirit in the form of a dove. Thus, the gift of the 2 turtle doves has universally been taken as conferring both spiritual and earthly virtues, with their beauty reflecting their spiritual power.
Incidentally, can I add something to that? They used to have dovecotes. They used to be quite big ones. I've seen one with several hundred holes in it. There's one up at Rousham. But round here locally, if you care to go to Kelston Farm, which is on the road through Kelston, you know, by the Crown Inn, if you go down the left-hand road, there is a square one. They're very rare. Go and have a look sometime. Right, thank you, Gary. All right, that's it then. Now, on the third, pardon me, on the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens. French hens? Penny, what about French hens then?
Well, while most people would think that 3 French hens simply means foreign hens, members of BRLSI would of course know that it refers to 3 French breeds, which were well known and established in medieval times. They were and still are the Houdin or Houdin, La Flèche and Crève-Cœur. The La Flèche hen, probably the oldest of the 3, takes its name from a pretty little town on the Loire. These hens are generally clean-headed, though the French standard requires a crest. The Houdins have been known as Normandy fowl. They are crested and have 5 toes. The Crève-Cœur have V-shaped combs and black plumage. Anyway, at any rate, as far as the song was concerned, they all made very fine eating at Christmas time.
And so they do. I've never seen one, but they're all the same. We've got pictures here. Thank you very much, Penny. Now, the fourth verse. We'll speed up a bit in a minute. Don't worry, we're not going to go through all 12. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 collie birds. Collie birds? What are collie birds, Jean?
Well, there can be something of a doubt and uncertainty about this gift, as some versions refer to 4 calling birds, which people recite without knowing what calling birds are, which is not altogether surprising, as there are no such things. Hence, colliery, in which colliers dig for coal, and the collie, the black and white Welsh mountain sheepdog. 4 collie birds is the correct term for the Old English word collie or coley, meant black. It is rather unlikely that a black bird meant the actual blackbird, which was honoured and still is as our most cherished indigenous songbird. It is altogether more probable that it included the rook, which is a corvid and not a dove, and quite a lot larger, which makes it easier to catch enough for a pie. Moreover, it is often found in large rookeries, sometimes of several hundred strong. This saves a lot of time and effort in bringing to the table instead of having to beat around amongst the undergrowth for individual birds. Many country folk like nothing better at festive times than to settle down to a lovely rook pie.
And very nice it is too, I can tell you. Although that was some years ago. Now, around to the 5th verse, and then Dick will take over. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 gold rings. Well, Dick, that's just up your street. What do you say?
A ring, and especially a gold one, has been the symbol of faithfulness and attachment in pretty much every culture since the dawn of time, and comes as an inflection or cadence at about halfway through this song. The mention of 5 gold rings, however, appears intended to be symbolic in itself, with the implication that no further allusions or references are needed. But in the context of this song, and the fact that 6 out of the first 7 verses are about birds we eat at Christmas, some authorities think the gold rings could refer to a bird, the ringed pheasant, the quintessential game bird. It may be possible that this high point in the song was reserved as special for the ringed pheasant, to the extent that it needed no further mention beyond the 5 rings, as everyone would know what was intended: 5 plump cooked pheasants. And there we go on to 6 geese a-laying. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, 6 geese a-laying. Kiri.
Geese were certainly part of English and French life in the 16th century and long before, and have been tamed and domesticated since the earliest days of settled agricultural life. And as we all know, the geese on Capitol Hill raised the alarm and saved Rome from attack by the Goths in the 4th century BC. Goose is the traditional festive bird for the festive season, though it's important to note as they do not thrive in the intense husbandry conditions of modern agriculture, and so are not as plentiful as they were in the 18th century when every farm had some. In the 19th century, they were maintained as semi-wild livestock in England. The geese spent the spring and summer on the village green and then migrated to the river for the winter. In February, the owners would call their geese, which returned home to nest, and rear their goslings, as those offspring were a significant contribution to the village's income. And so, those 6 geese a-laying were valued not only for the eggs themselves, but for the additional birds from which they would hatch, and therefore additional good news to add to the celebrations.
Thank you, Kiri. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a-swimming. Penny Ruddock.
As I'm sure everyone will agree, swans are the most charismatic of birds. their graceful flight and peaceful beauty as they glide across the water suggest a spiritual quality. Although migratory, they had become semi-domesticated in this country by the 10th century. However, Richard the Lionheart is often credited with bringing swans to England on his return from the Crusades in the 12th century. By that time, the Crown had claimed ownership of all swans on open waters, and by the 15th century, ownership on the River Thames was being shared with the vintners and the dyers' livery companies, something which continues to this day with the annual ceremony of swan upping. So, in the 12 days of Christmas, the meaning behind 7 swans are swimming had both royal and spiritual connotations.
Thank you, Penny. That concludes the verses to do with game birds, with connection to Christmas, but the festivities of the song are far from over, as pagan tradition requires 12 days, and there were still 5 more days to be accounted for. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, 8 milks maids a milking. Jean Robertson, for the last 5.
Right. The last 4 verses are references to the festivities themselves and how they were celebrated up through the social structure of the Middle Ages, beginning with 8 maids a milking and going on through 9 ladies dancing, 10 lords a leaping, with 11 pipers piping and 12 drummers drumming, representing the more or less continuous background of conflict and martial endeavour of those times, besides the important business of making a lot of noise to accompany strenuous physical activity to no particular purpose, except that of joining a communal activity that helps to renew and strengthen social contracts, which of course is the whole object of the exercise anyway.
It is indeed, and here we can join in with the membership subcommittee's recording. Here we are, sing along, unmute and sing along. For calling friendships and a partridge. Give us a time. Well, that brings the party to an end. We did quite well for just 6 of us in the membership subcommittee, didn't we? Oh, here they go again. Now then. Oh, hush. They don't know when they finish, that lot. Right, the membership subcommittee choir. That was pretty good. Well, thank you ever so much, everyone, for coming.
Can I just tell the worst joke of all?
Oh, please, Duncan. I love your bad jokes.
What do you call a bunch of chess players bragging about their games in a hotel lobby?
Has anyone got a clue what the answer might be? Nobody has, Duncan.
Chess nuts boasting in an open foyer.
Yes, well, there we are.
That is splendid. That is really splendid. Can I thank Mike Tuig for putting all of that 12 Days of Christmas together, please?
Yes, thanks, Mike.
And if you've enjoyed the evening, could you please give a clap to Penny Holroyd, whose idea it was?
Do anything, all I did was suggest it.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well done.
Our chair of directors, Betty Suchar, if she's still awake, may want to say a word or two.
Yeah, well, I really want to thank you, Dick, and all of your team, because I thought it was a splendid party. We all miss being at Queen Square, but this was a good alternative. So thank you very much, and happy Christmas to everybody.
And thank you to everyone who's been chatting on chat, because there's some lovely things. Mary Burton has said happy Christmas and a better 2021, and I think we'd all agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So look, you don't have to go immediately. Just enjoy yourselves. If you want to have a chat, if there's anything you want to say, please say. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But could I just say, Dick?
Thank you very much, Dick. Well done. Brilliant. Lovely
There
evening.
is a
Bye-bye,
state-
everybody.
Oh, we're all going
Happy
away.
Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, bye, Valerie.
Well done, Dick.
Anyone want to say anything to everybody?
I was just going to say, Dick, that there's a very simple Christian explanation of the song.
Oh, please tell us. Sorry, Duncan, I was supposed to ask you that. Sorry about that.
One stands for the whole church, right? A partridge, pertrix, meaning lost and found, from the French perdre, right? The Old Testament, New Testament, which Sherry got correct, right? The next one is the Trinity, the three hens, the Trinity, then the four Gospels, the 5 books of the Pentateuch, the 6 days of creation resulting in man, the 7 sacraments, the 8th day of the resurrection, the 9 gifts of the Spirit, the 10 commandments, the 11 mentions of judgment, and finally, the 12 apostles.
Thank you very much, Duncan, for giving.
Yes, right.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas. Well done, Duncan. Thank you for all your jokes.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Cheerio, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you, Duncan. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dick.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
See you soon. See you soon. See you in January.
Wonderful.
Thank you for Kiri Herbert for all her.
Yeah,
Thank Gary. You were looking lovely.
Thank you very much.
Look lovely. We'll see you in January, Kiri. See you at the beginning of January.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.